my family moved to Catalina Island back in 1996. We were there to manage a family hotel, or my parents moved there to manage the family hotel. As managers, they would have to go to where all the hotel managers of the town would get together, and I would get drug along because I couldn't really stay at home and hang out with the other kids. In year 2000, Tatiana and her mom moved to the island. Mom moved over to manage one of the hotels over there. That's where, at the Mixers, I met Tatiana through hanging out with her with the other kids. So when I was a senior in high school, because I graduated in 2005, she was a 8th grader. She was one of the middle schoolers that were in the program my senior year, where I was a student staff leader. So that's where we kind of became friends. I mean, we knew each other from 2000 when they first moved to the island. We hung out with each other at the Mixers, and then kind of at school a little bit. Where we got to know each other more was, I think, my senior year, her 8th grade year. But then after I moved away to my first year of college, I was working at Disneyland at that point. There was a couple of times where people from the island would come and hang out with me and find me at work and whatnot, and she was one of those people that came and visited me at work, which was pretty fun. And then I moved to Arizona, and at that point kind of fell off the face of the earth with my ex. I wouldn't say the full 8.5 years I was out there. Well, I lived out there for 12, but 8.5 years I was with her. I really don't remember, and a lot of that has been blocked out of my mind. So after I got out of my relationship, she had recently gotten out of a relationship as well, and in that relationship, she had a daughter. Becoming closer friends with her, I was also building this relationship with her daughter. After a while, I went up and visited her and her daughter. I had 3 days off at that time, so I would spend those 3 days there, and, we hung out for dinner. I got to meet her daughter, and over time, 2.5 years of recovering from my relationship and having her support me and be there for me through everything. She stood there, and even still to this day, 3.5 years since I've been out of that relationship, I find I'm still having issues. And she's like, no, I totally get it. You're fine. I understand. I'm here for you. All of that. And, it just makes me love her more. December of last year, I went up to visit her before I flew out to St. Louis for Christmas, and had asked her to be my girlfriend at that time. February was just crazy for me. Did a crazy turnaround. On the 11th, I was in California interviewing for DePaul, and then on Monday the 12th, I went skiing for my birthday. I had Monday, Wednesdays off. I took Sunday off. At that point, I had class, which was Monday, Wednesday, and I told my professor that Monday was my birthday, so I'm not coming to class. And I also told him that I would be interviewing in LA for DePaul, which he had been helping with my sound stuff at that point, so he was like, yeah, that's cool, I totally understand missing class on Monday. And so Tuesday morning, because I worked at, I think, 3, I got up basically the same time everybody was going to work and school at my aunt's house. I was leaving to go back to Arizona. Drove back to Arizona, worked all day, and I think I went home and slept for a couple hours. Again, I told my professor I wasn't coming to class. I drove up to Vegas and took my girlfriend and her daughter to dinner for Valentine's. In May, I went down and met her for her birthday and her daughter's birthday, because they're the same week. So I went down and hung out with them for the weekend, which was right after I quit my job and found out that I had gotten into DePaul. We went to Knott's, basically hung out the couple days I was down there. I went to the mall, went swimming. After that, and I graduated, Dad and I went hiking And then in June, I moved to St. Louis. And at that point, when I moved, I was moving across the country where it would be harder to just show up every couple of months. We decided to call it quits at that point, but still, of course, remain friends. Though the dynamic between us never really changed since I've lived in St. Louis and then now in Chicago. We started talking about it again and decided that even though there's 1,500 miles between us now, there's no reason why we shouldn't do a long distance relationship. So we decided as of December of 18 to give it a go. I've been blessed with a good relationship with her daughter as well. So that's my story of me and Tatiana. Oh yeah, there's a funny story. I don't remember what year it was. There was a time when I was working at the theater at our school, go figure. The director, Sean, had tasked me to get a couple of the younger kids and go refocus some lights up in the catwalks. And I think I may have just randomly picked a couple of kids. I really don't remember what happened, if it was like I took volunteers or if I just was like, hey, you, this way. But Tatiana was one of the people that I took up into the catwalks with me and was having her help me refocus lights, adjust them and everything. And I don't know if something was said back then, but she was telling me that, at least at that moment, she pretty much hated me for making her go up there, but apparently she did not like that. Somewhere in the beginning of our friendship, there was maybe not a hate towards me, but a strong dislike for making her go up into the cats. But yeah, so that's a funny story, that there was a dislike from the beginning. Apparently she remembers it to this day. Yeah, so that is my side of our story, and just kind of where things developed between us. And one of these times when I visit or she visits, one, we will get more photos. Two, I hope to be able to get her to record to get her side of our story. So yeah, that's where things are with Tatiana and myself. Good night, y'all.